Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Delhi Chapter's webinar. Today, we are thrilled to host an insightful and a hopeful conversation with the celebrated coach, Doctor of Psychology, MCC, the author of books which are considered as Bible for all the coaches, Dr. Marcia Reynolds.
Thank you.
In a world dominated by negativity, we are gathered here to focus on hope, transformation, and breakthroughs that redefine what's possible for individuals and organization. That's why we are having these sessions. While there's a lot of negativity, we have two ambassadors of hope who are creating the transformers of the new world. Marcia, with nearly 30 years of experience, I'm just sharing what is not there on LinkedIn. Everybody knows just the highlights. With nearly 30 years of experience, she shaped the coaching landscape globally. As a fifth global president of ICF and a coach, she's impacted over 100,000 leaders in 36 countries. She continues to inspire with her latest book, Breakthrough Coaching, published early this year, which has got also a program attached to it. And as well as her recent work with Aeon Vietnam, winner of the ICF Global Impact Award for Emerging Organization, which happened last month. So joining Marcia is very own Sandhya Mathur, MCC Director of Credentialing at ICF Delhi NCR. She's the founder of Inward Focus and known for her empathy transformative coaching. Sandhya has been instrumental in mentoring future coaches and guiding them towards life-changing sapphire moments. And I'm Devishi, the Secretary of ICF Delhi NCR, a Commonwealth Scholar, and I'm the part of the ICF Global Awards team, an ICF coach, and hungry, curious learner. So I'm excited to host this inspiring conversation between two futurists. I just can't wait to have this conversation where both of you navigate through the landscape of breakthroughs. So I'd like to invite Sandhya Mathur to take us through this breakthrough stories. And I'm curious to know how this all started.
Yeah, thanks, Devishi. Thank you so much. Marcia, she makes her introductions. I've been on webinars with Devishi. Her introductions just make you feel better than you would feel about your achievements. She does it so well. Thanks, Devishi, and welcome, Marcia, once again. Great to have you here. And it's been a pretty long-term planning we've had. And finally, we meet. Yes, you're the guru everyone in the coaching world follows. You've achieved a lot as a coach, as an author, as a mentor over the last nearly 3 decades. Marcia, the landscape of coaching when you began, or when I began about 15 years later, your journey to excellence must have been so different from what the landscape that we see today. I'm really curious. What was it like? How did it all start? What brought you to coaching?
Well, I mean, there's a number of stories that all kind of align that brought me to this wonderful profession. But really focusing on what I was trying to do in the world, my first master's degree was actually in broadcasting. And I had this idea I would make like programs that would teach people great things. So it was more like instructional videos. And I was actually hired by a psychiatric hospital to push their television sets around and film projectors for people to use. So it wasn't a glamorous job, but it was for the training department. And my boss got in a big argument with the only trainer we had for these 3 hospitals, fired him, and then decided to get her doctorate. So she dumped the whole department in my lap. There's a difference between delegating and dumping, and she dumped. But I think she did believe in me, even though I was just fresh out of school and I was young, that I could do this. And when people talk about your best bosses, I always name her, even though I didn't know what I was doing, but that she believed in me, which is a lot of what we do as coaches. And my first assignment was management training. And so I sat in the room with people and I said, I followed the instructional book with the program. But I said, obviously, I've never been a manager, so I would like to make this more conversational. So even then, just out of accident, I recognized that the people in the room were smart. They didn't need me to treat them like they didn't know anything. So I had that experience, but I really wanted to do better. What does it take for people to learn and grow? And so I decided to get a second master's degree in adult learning and instructional design. And that really piqued my interest. What does it take for people to learn and grow, to sustain change, to transform truly? Because transformation means it's sustainable. But oftentimes in it's not really a transformation. It's like, I will try new things. And as soon as people feel awkward, they go back to old behavior. And from that job, I moved into a computer company and then semiconductors. So I was in the tech world for 11 years and always trying to improve my training to make it more participative and fun and all the things, the research that was coming out. This is how you do good training. And people loved the classes. They would give me happy faces at the end. But of course, the retention of learning wasn't much. It never increased a whole lot. And they'd feel awkward and go back to old behavior. But I kept researching. I know there's a better way. I know there's a better way. It was dropped in my lap that the day I resigned from my last job, and I always knew I was going to run my own business because my family for generations had been entrepreneurs and I just needed the experience and knowledge. And I had told my boss that when he hired me, but he didn't believe me. He says, nobody just does that when you're making a good salary and stock options and all of that. And I said, no, I want to make a bigger impact in the world. And plus, I hit the glass ceiling. They told me they weren't going to promote me anymore. So I'm going to go do something more challenging. It was the day I resigned, or it was my last day on the job. I got this article. It was 1995 about this new thing called coaching. And it was about Thomas Leonard, who started Coach U, who actually started the International Coach Federation. And I said, there's something different here. So I actually signed up to watch a demo. And I knew, this is the missing link. Something's happening different, which then launched my whole curiosity, not just to sign up and be a coach and help to get the ICF going from the very beginning, but to try to understand what's the difference between instructing and coaching. And that's what really inspired me to get my doctorate, because this new thing called neuroscience was just launching as well, really coming out because they were able to finally scan the brain and see what happens when we have emotional responses or we learn. And so there was actually I was researching the neuroscience of learning, which was fairly new at the time. And I wanted the latest research because it was so brand new. And I had been researching and teaching for the US government emotional intelligence and working with a lot of the top leaders and of neuroscientists and psychologists, and we would share information, and that was just a lucky thing, another wonderful accident. But I finally saw that it's different. We're working with a different part of the brain with coaching, and it's why when we create those breakthroughs, those aha moments, it actually happens in the creative brain and creates new connections and makes it sustainable. So we transform people, not just the way they think, but the way they think about themselves, who I am. And so I continue to be passionate about this. And yes, I came out with Breakthrough Coaching, but I just signed with my publisher to do the next edition of Coach the Person that will come out in 2026. Yeah. Because I'm
Wow.
learning more and more every time I publish a book. But I know new things that I want to share with you because we are making a difference, not just for people, but for the world. I'm so proud of winning the Impact Award for working with a Vietnamese company to transform their culture because we coach people, but we also transform organizations and people, those people that go out into the world to make a difference. That company is now going out into Vietnam and trying to convince all the other companies that coaching is a good thing. So when people feel like the impact of coaching, they're like, oh, I need to share this with others. And we keep spreading it around the world. And that's why I get up at 5:30 in the morning to be here with you to
Right.
help spread this amazing thing that we have all aligned to and the
Right.
difference that we can make in the world.